So I kept at it, and I got mad at my mom, and she came out and rescued me. And eventually the job was done. And I probably after the fact, at some point, recognized it wasn't all that bad. But I guess the point of the story is that one of the many things that I learned from my dad was perseverance and endurance and doing the right things, the right reason. And it's a lesson that I can look back on and pass on to my kids. So, thanks.
A sinner saved by grace. That's how Fred Manning wished to be remembered. Nothing more, nothing less. When we asked him what he'd like included in his memorial service, he wouldn't respond and just changed the subject. That statement, a sinner saved by grace, was enough. This is how I picture Fred Manning approaches the gates of heaven. Not the 85-year-old Fred that we knew that walked with a walker and had difficulty hearing. This is the 30-year-old Fred in his prime. There's a crowd in the gate. His mother, father, family, friends, and church members, and a few minor prophets, all unencumbered by age and romantic attachments. Fred's eyes locked with Betty Manning. This is not the body, the 79-year-old Betty whose body had been tormented by Alzheimer's. This is Betty at her finest. Fred makes his way over to Betty and she asks, "What took you so long, Fred? We've had such an amazing time." Fred looks down, still with the troubles of his past life on his mind. "The Lord had some things for me to do before I could come home. I had sermons to preach, hymns to sing, a small group to lead, people to pray with and pray for, shut-ins to visit, people in ministries that needed my help. I needed to share with my family not only how to live, but how to die. Betty grabs him by the hand and says, "Come on, Fred, let's go see the King." I was a grown man before I fully appreciated my dad and his importance in the work of the church. In the eyes of the world, he would not seem remarkable. He never made a lot of money, and he didn't care about material things. We still laugh about these 40-year-old pair of socks that he wore. Most of you know Fred in his last years, and it's amazing what God allowed him to do up until a few weeks ago. Here's some of the things that I remember from his earlier years in ministry. When I was in middle school, he started and ran a Christian school in our church. He was the principal, and my mother, Debbie, taught first grade. He had a heart for social justice. We had students in the school from the local sheriff's youth town that others considered trouble. He considered them potential brothers in the kingdom that needed an education. Everyone called him Brother Manning. He had a very active Bible memorization program in our church, and each summer he would take a large group to Bible memory camp where he served as the camp director. He and my mother sponsored a Cambodian mother and her 2 children in their home. Most of the vacations that we took growing up were to some type of Christian camp or conference. I didn't appreciate it back then, but I look back on those as blessed times. He was involved in many construction projects at the church, at the manse, or at the schoolhouse. He encouraged the churches to have bus ministries, and he loved to drive the bus.
Because he loved it.
When his children were college age, he and Betty took off to Africa to work with African Bible College. He said that those were some of his best years and where his gifts best matched his responsibilities. He was able to not only teach theology courses, but he loved teaching math and English. His students loved him despite the red ink on their papers. In Liberia, he had many opportunities to preach, which he loved. And my mother was a gifted educator and taught missionary children as well. When I think of Fred, I think of his faithfulness. He was true to the faith and faithful to his church. He was true to the vows that he made to his wife, and he loved his family. A sinner saved by grace.